Hi everyone, my name is Nate Sheets with Organ Behavior Consultation, and in this video we're going to be talking about the concept of executive functioning fuel, or spoon theory. There's a critical set of skills called executive functioning skills, and those are housed in the very front of our brain. They're the last part of our brain to have evolved, and they are, in a sense, what makes us the most human. These skills include things like emotional regulation, working memory, planning, abstract thought, impulse control, and many others. And what we want to talk about today is how we only have a limit as to how many times we can do these tasks each and every day. This is something that's true for all of us, not just kids and adults who have fetal alcohol spectrum disorders and other developmental disabilities. Each time you use a skill in the executive functioning category, you use a little bit of what I refer to as executive functioning fuel. This means that as the day goes on, the more and more stressors you get, or the more and more times you have to use these skills, you're going to feel more and more wiped out and be less able to do them later. Since emotional regulation is a big part of the executive functioning system, what we see with people with fetal alcohol spectrum disorders and other developmental disabilities is that the more and more stressed out they get, the more and more reactive they come to small stressors. You can probably relate to this. If you've ever spent the first part of the day with really intense focus on something, like studying for a class, as the day goes on, you feel more and more physically and emotionally tired. That's the concept of executive functioning fuel, or spoon theory. Spoon theory was created to help those of us who don't experience a disability or chronic illness understand what it's like for those people that do experience it to go throughout their day-to-day life. You can think of everybody as having a certain number of spoons. If we're talking about somebody with fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, you can go ahead and take away some of these spoons because they have low cognitive skills in many areas, meaning they're already at a disadvantage. Each time the person uses something in their executive functioning toolkit, such as emotional regulation or holding their attention, a spoon is taken away, which means as the day goes on, they're going to have less and less to work with. You can replenish your spoons by taking a nap, eating something with glucose, or just taking a break. So it really isn't a surprise that so many of our kids do pretty well in school but display most of their behaviors at home. When they start off the day going to school, they have more spoons. By the time they've used all of their attention, emotional regulation, and impulse control, and they get home, there's barely any left. There are proactive things we can do, as well as suggestions in the cognitive support process that allow us to assess where a person is at with each skill and to provide them some support. This can help our days go much more smoothly. For example, if we know a kiddo is coming home with very few spoons left, then we're going to need to do something immediately to help them replenish their spoons. If we sit them down and expect them to do 45 minutes of homework, you're probably going to see some resistance and some behaviors. Or if we expect them to do anything that involves an executive functioning skill, such as working memory, attention, transitioning, emotional regulation, and impulse control. So as we move through these videos together, start to ask yourself about your awareness of how many spoons your child has. By just simply understanding that your child may have very little executive functioning fuel left, you're going to be able to adjust expectations much more and proactively think of solutions to help them get through the rest of their day. In the next several videos, we're going to be talking about specific cognitive skill deficits and specific things that you can do to help enhance those skills or provide cognitive support for those skills. If these videos have been helpful to you, please like our page on Facebook or subscribe to us here on YouTube. We're going to have links in the description to various things that we've talked about today. I also appreciate all the positive feedback I've been getting about the videos. That really helps me to stay motivated to keep making more and more for you guys. So please feel free to let me know if it's helping you, or if you have any questions, or if you have a suggestion for a video that you would like me to address in the future. Thanks for watching.